how do you see that evolution taking place for B2B businesses? What kinds of things would you recommend?
So going back to my first point about a supply chain being the front of center of businesses, they're also supply chain have become the front and center of consumers. So today, businesses have to realize that supply chain had become part of the experience that consumer have with businesses and with brands. Consumer today want to know where are the raw material were sourced, who's making the products, where are they made, what are the conditions of the worker, how fresh the vegetables that I buy in the store is it organic, where it comes from, how long it took it to arrive to the store.
Yeah.
All of that has created immense pressure on all the intermediates along the supply chain to be much more transparent with their operation, which is hard because even for the business itself, it's not like the business has transparency on, from its side. So it's really is a challenge. And the other thing is that supply chain had become a point of engagement with the consumer, which was not the case up until recently. So, there are, for example, there are grocery stores that will put the picture of the farmer in the store to show you where the vegetable came from. I mean, we've never seen that before. So now, really supply chain became the source of differentiation, the source of value, and the source of competitive advantage. But it also required a major change in how we do business and how we really think about what supply chain means to the business, what supply chains mean to the brand, what supply chain means to the consumer, and where we can leverage that strategically.
Absolutely. I think visibility, transparency, and that experiential supply chain have become so critical. Whether we're an industrial customer, whether we're a consumer business, we have to think about how our supply chains engage with those customers. And so how do you see this playing out? When we think about the supply chain actually being that point of engagement for our consumers, are there some critical things that are also happening at the same time that companies need to be thinking about?
So I think that what companies need to focus on right now is how do we leverage our supply chain in order to better serve our customers. So a good example for that will be, for example, customization. So we know that customization is not a new thing, certainly not in the B2B sphere, right? I mean, you have your clients, you know which ones are the most important ones, maybe less important ones. And a lot of time you will customize your product or your services to meet the specific needs of that specific customer that you have. So B2B have been doing that for a very long time. But at the B2C sphere, things are changing because now consumers really are expecting to feel special and to feel unique. And in order for businesses to be able to deliver that sense of feeling, it means that they need to revamp their supply chain in order to be able to do that. So, if you're looking for something special and you're one of million consumers, how do I give you that feeling on a large scale? We call it mass customization in our field, but that is a true challenge for supply chain in terms of providing that experience. And it really is just one example. I'm sure if we can sit here another hour, we can come up with more examples, but I think the underlying message here is that everything rises and falls supply chain today. No matter how you look at it, no matter what element of the business you're thinking of, the key is really your supply chain.